Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the IoT Trailblazer Podcast. I'm your host, Mohan Raju, and today we are diving into a space where engines meet intelligence and mobility gets a digital soul. Our episode is titled Driven by Intelligence with JSW MG Motor and JioThings on Future of Connected Cars. I am thrilled to be joined by someone who truly understands what it means to innovate on wheels. Mr. Manish Patel, Chief Information Officer at JSW MG Motor India Private Limited. Manish, welcome to the show.
It's always great to be at the RCP campus, Mohan.
Let's start by shifting into first gear, Manish. You had a rich journey in the automotive and tech landscape. Can you share a bit about how your background shaped your role today at MG?
So, if I go back in my career, the first thing that the thing that happened was hands-on experience, okay? So my first job, hands-on experience, liberty to do what I needed to, exercise, play and test things out. If I correlate that with when we started MG, pretty much the same thing. So we were doing everything that I did way back in 1995. I couldn't imagine that in 95 we were working as a startup, and even in 2017 when I joined MG, we were in the same startup mode. So everything was ground up zero.
That's an incredible journey. With all your experience in this field, what are your thoughts on the current state and future potential of the automotive industry in India?
I think it's a very exciting time as we look forward to it. Again, if I compare traditionally 1995, there were only two major auto manufacturers versus more than 10-15 now in India. A lot has shaped out of it. I think the most recent innovations that have happened is more to do so from a connected car perspective, and I think this is the most exciting time with the Chinese coming in, with the Americans coming in. We as India, specifically when I talk about local manufacturers, we have to step up the game now to be in line with them.
Let's talk about the exciting journey MG and JioThings are navigating together through the Jio Auto Apps Suite. How did this collaboration come to life, and what convinced you that this was the right direction to take?
The relationship with Jio started way back in 2017 when we were preliminary discussing only about the connectivity part. Unfortunately, things did not work out then, but we were very upbeat that with the kind of innovation that Jio and the strengths it had in the field of innovation, we were very upbeat and we never left that fall apart. So though we did not start with Jio, we actually came back and worked with Jio to make sure that they upped their game, we upped our game, and we could shake hands someday. So I believe in 2019 is when we actually shook hands and decided to go ahead with Jio purely from a connectivity perspective, and then having multiple interactions with Jio on what innovations could be brought on the table, because we were not looking at just the connectivity layer. We were looking at a complete solution that could be deployed in our vehicles, right from applications to voice recognitions. Home to car now has been there. So we were looking at a player and a partner actually who would be a part of our innovation journey.
The in-car infotainment space is becoming a critical driver of brand loyalty. How does the Jio Auto Apps Suite elevate the MG customer experience?
See, I think again, three pieces to it. Flawless connectivity, which is the most important thing, right? A lot of apps depend on that, and thank God with the broader connectivity and the 5G connectivity and 4G, flawless connectivity that our vehicles ride on has been absolutely miraculous, I would say. Secondly, we wanted a player to provide us with the voice recognition. The whole idea behind our vehicles was to provide the experience that a customer has with his cell phone inside the vehicle. So bit by bit, we said, let's try and do things. So connectivity was the first one. Second one was the voice recognition that we brought on. So we wanted the customer to not play with his phone, but play with his vehicle. And again, not stretching out to the screens that we have, but controlling majority of the functions through voice. So that was one of the biggest innovation that we brought. Thirdly, the apps. We wanted the customers to experience the apps pretty much some more when you experience the apps in the house. Okay, a simple example could be a mother waiting for her son in a parking lot. What does she do? So she could watch something as good as news. She could watch a cricket game. She could watch a podcast on one of your applications, which is the Savan podcast. So that's what we wanted to bring, and we continue to innovate on that.
From a tech integration perspective, what stood out to you about working with the JioThings team?
I think teamwork, the team at Jio, the innovation capability. Fourth thing was the time to deliver the solution. Idea was seeded when it would get there. We wanted to make sure that Jio guys and the team could deliver it to us, and we have not been disappointed, honestly.
You're transforming the dashboard into an ultimate infotainment experience, but you're taking it to a gear further with the launch of the home to car feature last year. What is the strategy behind bringing the connected convenience all the way to the home?
So pretty much compare it with my vehicle, right? We want the customer to leave his phone even in the house, right? Simple things, as simple as I am sitting on my couch watching a TV. I'm suddenly reminded that I need to book my next service. With the voice capability that JioFiber has on their TVs, we wanted to provide that experience. So I don't need to go to my mobile phone, open my MG app, and then book a service. We are endeavoring to avoid the use of cell phone even in the house as far as the car functionalities are concerned. Morning, I wake up watching news. I would like to see how much charge do I have on my EV. Can I go back to my office, take more broader rounds and come back there on my TV, right? I don't have to play with my phone. Open the app and see what is actually. So what we actually wanted and are willing to give to the customer are broader functions on the TV in the house, and not asking them to open an app on the phone and then scroll through it and see through it simplistically.
Can you share some early customer feedback or reactions to the connected features powered by this partnership?
As I said, flawless connectivity. Okay, we haven't had that issues with Jio. Downtime on the connectivity absolutely minimal. Second biggest thing is the voice recognition that we put on our vehicles, right? Stretching your left arm to control something on a screen is quite difficult when you are a right-handed person, right? So that voice recognition gave the customer to freely do and control some of the functions in the vehicle, which probably if he is trying to do it with his left hand would be tedious, maybe hazardous, because his mind is diverted. Now he can focus on the road with the vehicle and just give a command and be done with it.
Manish, I got to say, it's been an absolute treat hearing your insights so far. But now it's time to shift into sports mode for a rapid fire round. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind, and remember, no breaks allowed.
Okay.
One word to describe the future of mobility.
Exciting.
Most exciting in-car app or feature you love.
Voice recognition.
EV or hybrid, your pick for the next 5 years.
EV always.
Your cars speak to you today. What do you think they say about your driving?
I think anywhere between good and rash.
Voice assistant or touchscreen? Which one would you prefer?
Voice recognition.
One tech you think will be standard in every car by 2030?
I would like to have this experience when I say hello MG. Every function comes alive to what I have preset with my voice.
What's one out-of-the-box app you would love to see in car someday?
Oh, tough one. One car app in my vehicle.
Someday, futuristic.
Something that would beat the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto.
That was a smooth and speedy round of answers, Manish. Shifting gears back to our main discussion. On a broader level, how do you see the government policy influencing and accelerating the adoption of connected and electric mobility in India?
I will take the question in two parts. When it comes to connectivity, predominantly it's the responsibility of the telecom providers like Jio and others, right? However, we need to take the next steps, right? There is autonomous driving coming in. There is ADAS built into the vehicle. We are talking about vehicle-to-vehicle connectivity and vehicle-to-infrastructure. And when we talk about vehicle to infrastructure, that's where the government needs to step in and rapidly think about how can that be done. Because vehicle to vehicle, again, is also a challenge, because now all the OEMs need to come together and make sure that my car talks to yours and yours talks to somebody else's, right? I mean, predominantly trying to avoid accidents on the road and controlling the distance between each of them. So that's where the government needs to come in, right? And upbeat their step up into their building of infrastructure, because that is a very tedious task to honestly happen.
What's your long-term vision for connected cars at MG, and how do you see tech partnerships like ours shaping that future?
Well, honestly, I think if I discuss the relationship between us and Jio right now, though we have done too much, right? I mean, we have given enough. I would say it's not enough. And there is, that's one part of it. There is another ecosystem that needs to also step in, specifically when we talk about EVs, right? From a connected car perspective, you can give so much. There is a part which the EV has to play, and the infrastructure around it has to play, where it is as convenient as when you go and get your gas filled up in a toll station, right? That's what I would like to see, that entire ecosystem being brought up. Now, it could be Jio or it could be somebody else. But again, when I talk about vehicle to infrastructure, there will be pillars which will be formed, and this will be required to be completely integrated.
We always end our episodes with a book recommendation. Is there a book that has inspired your thinking as a tech leader, Manish?
Yeah, there's a book by a person called Robert Rublet, okay? And it talks about, it doesn't talk purely about IT strategy. It talks about how do you bridge IT and business.
Manish, it's been a joy riding alongside you in this conversation today. With partnerships like MG and Jio in the driver's seat, the road ahead for connected cars looks smarter and more exciting than ever before. Thank you, Manish. To all our listeners, thanks for cruising with us on the IoT Trailblazer podcast. Until next time, keep your engines tuned, your tech connected, and your journey trailblazing.